Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler, and I'm joined by
Solzy,
Mock,
Sheen Washable.
Nope,
J-Mart,
and Kendall.
Your household appliance. Get over it.
No,
It's
I don't like
the
it.
way things happen. Today on Getting Sports with Drunk, we have a fun show for you. We're going to be doing our newest segment that our producer created. It's called Drunken Disputes.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
But before we get into that, starting lineups, we're doing a Connecticut beer theme on the show today. So local brews. Got a special surprise here for everyone. You've been iced! You've been iced! Oh, no!
You've been iced.
Quick, snap them and chug them. Those are the rules. Snap them and chug them. Here we go.
By the ice.
Yeah,
Here we go.
you guys are done for.
What a terrible...
Oh, yeah. Let's go. You can't stop. You got to keep going until they're done. You have to chug them. They got to be gone. Well, because Souls is leaning back. Souls, you're still in last place, even though you're chugging the hardest. And Jeff is dying over there. Oh, man, this is so good. I tried to have it ready to be filmed, but I fumbled my phone. Oh, yeah. That was good.
I tell you what, I could probably drink 1,000 of those.
Yeah, that was good.
Now, I noticed, Paul, you didn't drink yours.
I don't have to. I iced you guys.
But you touched it, so I think you should drink it.
No, I just pulled it up. I was curious to see if it was a twist off, and then I saw you guys all take them off.
I have never been so disappointed in the revealing of our beers.
Oh, that's not your beers. I just
No,
iced you guys.
just been iced.
How do you guys feel being iced?
That was
Good.
cold.
Oh,
Jeff grabs another one.
All right, well, I'll drink the other one. I'll drink the sixth one. That'll be mine. But so we do have beers though. We do have Connecticut beers. So we featured 6 different beers, or 5 different breweries on the show. So starting first from Thimble Island for Kendal Reed, we have the Four Horsemen, a dark hoppy imperial ale. I know normally we say our own beers, but I picked them out.
I like it. I like it.
So
Nice.
for Machine Washable from Broadbrook Brewing, we have Hopstillo, a India Pale Ale.
Why, thank you.
They're out of East Windsor, Connecticut. For Jeff, we have Relic Brewing's Whiting Street. It's an American lager,
All right.
and it's got a good name. Kyle, you have Orange Juiced IPA from Stony Creek. We know you love the juice. It's been a while. And Paul from Two Roads has his nice big bomber of Bog Wild. So,
From behind the whiteboard.
yeah, well, I didn't want you guys to see it. So
The
that
Bombardier.
because the only person I was worried about blowing the iced coverage was Jeff. Because I know Kendall wouldn't look because he was all excited, but Jeff's seen the iced thing a lot.
Did Kendall not know about it?
No, it was a complete
Now,
surprise.
were you surprised, Jeff? Did you have any idea?
I was surprised, yes.
Yeah?
His
I
face,
had
he
no
looked
idea.
shocked when he saw it. He was like, "Wait, is
was
this
like-
real? Like, do I have to do
You
this?"
said it before I saw it, and then I registered it in my head. I was like, wait, really?
Just you guys were iced. Oh, this was such a good revealing.
We've been beaten.
You guys are done for.
It wasn't the worst.
Yeah, it's an easy drink. You know, it's
It is.
I want to ice you guys again, but I'm gonna get like the Moscow Mule flavored
Iced.
ones. Oh, Kyle, you gotta chug it.
iced
Kyle, you
them.
gotta chug it. No, all right.
You can't re-ice somebody.
All right. Toast to excellence. We didn't really talk about this before the show, so I don't know who to toast it to.
let's toast it to the icing.
All right. That's not,
Smirnoff
it's not sports
Ice.
related, but we'll do it.
It's a save. A save
We'll
anyway.
toast it to Smirnoff Ice. Gentlemen,
This one requires a bottle opener. Forgot about that one. Thank you.
Poor planning on the producer's part.
I can't wait to listen back to the show because like they cracked it right when I popped it, but the cork popped. I hope I got the sound on the audio.
And hopefully too, we didn't put the blanket down on the table this time, and now every time someone puts their can on the table, it's like an earthquake.
So gentle placements. So Kendall, you have a disgusting shot to do from
I
our
do.
privar stock.
I do.
Um,
Let me hand that back to Mark.
as
right
last
there.
week's trivia loser.
Kyle did quite a number on the private stock last week.
Yeah, Kyle was pretty sloshed last week.
He paid for everybody at the diner. It
So
worked
Kyle-
out for us.
Kyle, are we repeating this?
I'm just hungry, but I'm not repeating this.
I mean,
Why
he
not?
did get iced, and he's
Yeah,
not
you're a
drinking
Smirnoff
his
Ice
second
in,
ice.
and you have a pretty high % beer.
Well, we know what they say. When in Rome.
Excellent.
All right.
So, do you have your trivia ready?
I do. In spirit of
Well, hold on. I know, before you get in there, but you put the private stock on the floor. How are we all supposed to just take random sips for bad puns and whatnot?
my sincerest of
Up, bro.
Oh, shot.
Yeah.
this is a clean show.
Not
Ass.
anymore.
So, in spirit of Tariq Cohen, he threw a touchdown as a running back against the Ravens this past Sunday. One of my favorite players, LaDainian Tomlinson, he's thrown a couple touchdowns in his day. How many touchdown passes has he thrown?
6.
5.
2.
3.
The correct answer is 7.
So Kyle, wait till
That's for next
well,
week.
You can do some
No,
now.
you got iced, too. You're trying to pawn it off over there.
I'll
Also-
ice you, dude.
You can't. You've been
I'll
iced.
ice you.
You're already frozen.
I'm
You're
just,
shook.
I'm hot, man. So like that's just gonna melt.
Oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
This is horrible.
Uh,
Moving along.
Jesus Christ.
So, well, Kyle takes his bad hot iced reference joke
You
here.
guys a fire and ice guy. We all know it.
So,
It's terrible.
Souls, why don't you give the listeners? We've been a little lackadaisical on our pick'em updates.
Yeah.
So after week 6 of NFL action, why don't you let them know where we are?
And
Well, Mock's in the lead
Damn right.
with a 49-27 record, but he's not in the lead in fantasy. So
Or in fan for a team.
yeah, they suck. Paul's in second with a 47-29 record. I'm gonna go
Bad
to
week.
two-way tie between me and Ken for 43-31.
This is the first time I've ever called him Ken on the air.
Yeah.
that's not my
Don't do it again.
Shot.
Then Jeff.
That's right.
Bringing up the rear.
40-32.
So
I'm tanking for next season.
real quick, just because he called you Ken, before we get into the show, there was we went to the Hop Knot today, Kendall and I, for lunch. Pretzel beer place in both Middletown and Southington, Connecticut. And the waitress there, who we've actually dealt with a number of times in our travels there, she asked him his name because he didn't know it, so he told her Kendall, and she said, "Do you like to be called by anything else, like Kenny?" And he goes, "You can call me whatever." And I know damn right well, if any of us tried to call him Kenny, he would be absolutely livid.
Kenny.
I mean, it's I don't know. You can call me whatever you want. It sounds bad in the ear. You know what I mean?
What, Kenny?
What's
the people
wrong,
who are
Kenny?
named Kenny? Yeah, Kenny sounds weird.
It doesn't work.
I don't know. What if we call you Kenny Chesney?
No.
Would you have no shirt, no shoes,
Whoa,
no
whoa.
problem? Shot for Paul.
There we go.
Yeah, so the pick'ems are going well. We're doing
No.
Well, Jeff just keeps picking the wrong.
What was Jeff's
teams.
record?
40-32. I think.
I mean, we're still doing better than I thought we would. There's usually a lot of like upsets and like surprises. I mean,
Like the New York Giants.
right? Like I mean, like the only surprise this week really like would have been like the Giants. I feel beating Denver, and then like if you pick the Packers because Rodgers went down.
Yeah.
But like I mean, I feel like a lot of games have kind of gone a little bit more to schedule this year.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the Dolphins beating the Falcons was kind of surprising.
Yeah, none of us had that.
Yeah.
Man, well, it's because you guys all laughed at Jay Cutler, but that guy smokes cigarettes and throws touchdowns. Nobody else in the league does that.
The best of the best, where the best come from. So today we're doing a debate style show.
Yeah, Kendall, why don't you give the listeners? Yeah, I know I interrupted you from doing that, but
No.
Drunken Disputes was your baby. You
Yep.
came up with the topic. So
Come on, Kenny.
So it just sounds awful. I can just picture Eric Cartman saying it.
Kyle's done for.
Eric Cartman, like, come on, Kenny. But
Furthermore.
yeah, it just sounds bad. I'm not a Kenny. I don't look like a Kenny.
Yeah, I don't look like a Mock Sheen.
Yes, you do.
Shut up, Kenny.
Striking resemblance.
You do
actually.
look like a mock sheen. You're a little wide, and you always have a load in you.
It's on the spin cycle right now.
All right, Ken, what do you got for us?
Kenneth here.
No, we're done now.
Shot, bro.
All right. Let me explain the topic. So we've kind of done a debate type show before, but this time it's going to be kind of like Paul is going to be the host. He's going to be pitching the questions, and then we're going to each have we'll call it a minute to kind of discuss our point.
No.
Multiple points. No?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay.
It's gonna be 3 minutes because we always go over the time. So I've decided it's gonna be a 3 minute for the whole group. That's just it. So short and sweet answers. I mean, keep the explanation short. Everybody has to get time in on the topic, so no dragging it out. You know.
And he's just going to be silently keeping track of the points. That way we're kind of in the dark, and people are just throwing stuff on the floor. So we won't really know.
Getting a little rowdy, gentlemen.
Get a little rowdy, gentlemen. We won't really know who's in the lead, so you gotta bring your A game. So it's gonna work like if I make a point and say J Mart repeats the same point as I do, Jed here, he will lose a point. So we're showing a picture of
Kevin Nash
who's,
holding a gun. Sorry.
He's horrible. He's horrible.
We've pretty much already like thrown the show in the bag. It's so like just terrible today. So I wish I had like a little cubicle thing. I had a pen, but I'm not sure. I think Kyle stole it. I wish I had like a little like something so you guys can't see me writing down because it's gonna be pretty obvious
I
when
can't with the
if
laptop.
I go to take a motion towards the paper while you're talking, you know it's coming to you. So.
Shaving guy with glasses.
That's
Right.
right.
Watch out.
All I can say is,
I'll take 7 shots at the thing and we won't even notice.
yeah, there you go. We'll just try to scouts honor it a little bit. You know, try not to peek at the paper. There'll be points, negative points, and of course bias points. So with that being said, we'll delve into some topics.
Let's go.
So the first topic is perfect for some biases. We have, as of right now in the NFL, well, not right now, this second, but currently in the NFL, who is the better quarterback? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? Obviously not counting the injury.
Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers.
Tom Brady.
Okay, well, I'm not. This isn't an answer. So you guys should start giving. I'm not giving any points for just saying
All right,
names.
so
One's got a handful of rings, the other doesn't.
I'm going to go with Tom Brady because he makes the receivers way better than Aaron Rodgers makes his receivers better. If that makes any sense? So they brought in Chris Hogan, who was a Buffalo Bill who didn't really do much, and now he's like a superstar in New England.
I say Rodgers. Rodgers extends plays like no one else in the NFL. He makes big plays. Brady's a system quarterback. Rodgers is better.
I got Brady for the sheer reason of playoff success. 25-9. Rodgers already has 7 losses in the playoffs, and Brady's much older.
Tom Brady has now won more games than any other NFL quarterback.
Controversially.
Controversially, be that as it may,
Stupid
he
call.
is
Well, but for once though, not controversially on him.
True. Very true.
winningest Super Bowl quarterback, and he is the best for that reason.
Kendall, I'm going to give you 2 points. I know we're not supposed to say that, but I'm giving you 2 points because you said Tom Brady's the best ever, and I know it really hurt you to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks,
He's
Kenny.
shriveling up right now.
Yeah. So we done?
Yep.
And then I kept time. I'm keeping time, but that wasn't 3 minutes. All right,
I don't want to talk about Tom Brady anymore.
I really had something to say, but I forgot what it was. Not important. So we're just going to. This is for all sports. Keep in mind, we're not just
Winston
gonna be football.
Churchill.
Winston. There we go. All right, Jeff points.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff. Winston.
So this one's a
for
little
you.
trickier. So we're gonna go this. This is across all sports, all 4 major sports in America. Who's the best coach in sports? Go,
Kyle?
Yeah, come on.
All right, I'm going to go with Greg Popovich. He is the only coach that can have his reserves play and blow out a team like the Cavaliers by 20, 25 points.
All right.
I
Jeff,
love debating Kyle, and I also think it's great.
See, go ahead, Ken.
I'm going to jump in here. I have a paper. Jeff and I both have papers here. I feel very official. I have Don Shula. Don Shula coached the Miami Dolphins most notably. He has the highest winning percentage of any NFL coach. He has 347 wins. He's coached multiple Hall of Fame quarterbacks, including Dan Marino and Johnny Unitas, and is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And also, he owns the only undefeated NFL season, 17-0, per the 14-game regular
I'm
season
going
in the 70s.
Popovich still. Longest tenured coach in all of sports history for America. He has 20 winning seasons in a row. If he does another winning season, that's a record. 5 championships, 1,000 wins. It's all there.
For me, if I had to pick the best coach that I've seen, it's Terry Francona. He took the Red Sox that haven't won a World Series in, 86 years, got them a World Series, retired, went to the Indians, and now they're like a perennial World Series caliber team. They haven't gotten it done yet, but it's only a matter of time. I think he's been the best baseball coach we've seen. in a long time.
Basketball coach.
Hey, listen, drank 2 of those things.
this is multiple South Park references in one show. I love it. All right, well, so good gentlemen. You guys are. It was really nice watching Jeff punch himself into submission after.
Yeah, hit himself pretty hard.
Yeah. All right, so this one's a good one for me. I feel like I know the answers, but point systems. So make good arguments. Should baseball eliminate the DH position?
No. Interleague play gives the pitchers opportunities to get a rest day when they play the AL teams. Also, it's nice in the AL to see DHs. I mean, that's kind of your 9th guy. The next guy up gets his shot to show he can hit. It gives your pitcher a break. Postseason, you see a little bit of both on each side. I think it stays the same.
See, I like the DH because it extends certain players' careers. Like David Ortiz would have never been in the MLB as long as he was
Matt
without
Holliday.
the DH. Personally, I think it should go. If you play the field, you should hit. I love watching NL baseball because you have to go around the pitcher. There's more bunts. It's just, to me, it's more interesting to watch.
That's why I like how it's kind of split up, though, that the AL has it and the NL doesn't. So you get a little bit of both, and then when they do clash, a lot of these NL teams have to throw some guy off their bench in the lineup, kind of see what they... And it's an opportunity for them to show, hey, maybe I could work my way into this starting lineup.
Keep the DH. It provides a difference between two leagues, the only sport that has that distinct difference. And it's cool because when the teams do have interleague, they have to prepare a little bit differently than you would have to just, when you're playing a team in your conference. So keep the DH.
I feel like it should stay the same. It provides more strategy to the game.
Yeah.
And so instead of just having guys swing away, it's focusing on bunts and situational hitting instead of just everyone swinging. The DH just swinging for the fences.
Well, Edgar Martinez...
Wait, did you say it should
DH
stay the same, but then said
didn't swing
that
for
it
the
should be
fences?
different?
No, I just said it should stay the same.
There's tons of DHs that don't necessarily just swing for
You
the
know
fences.
what I mean, now.
I don't.
Their main goal is to drive in runs. Because
Is it?
Yeah.
Take your shirts
Always?
off and wrestle. Here we go.
Yeah,
If they bat fourth, maybe.
We
They
all
usually
knew
do.
this was coming.
But they all don't.
I can't believe we made it to 3 topics before Kyle starts rubbing his head.
The DH will bat fourth.
I don't know if that's entirely accurate.
I think it is. Look it up.
Why don't you?
All right,
Mr.
gentlemen,
Homework,
moving
You
on.
brought the fact out.
No, you brought the fact. You had the paper.
My favorite thing is there was a text message prefacing before the show that they
Yeah.
didn't want to watch this become a showdown between the two of them. I'm
So,
personally
when
glad
Ichiro
to...
DHs, is he batting fourth, looking for home
But
runs?
he DHs once every blue moon. He always played the outfield. He never
But
really.
he DHs now.
He's
his
in
career is
Miami.
being
He's a
extended.
pinch hitter. He is not a DH. He's a
DHs
pinch
when
hitter.
they play the AL.
We are not having this discussion because he only
He
DHs.
DHs when they play
No,
the
they
AL.
not all the time. That's a
He hits
fact.
lefties and righties equally as good.
Souls,
He's
why is your
42.
shirt off?
Matt Holliday does not hit fourth.
Matt Halliday bats fifth.
Oh, God,
That's
Jeff's
not
shirt is
four.
off.
It's the same shit.
Fourth and fifth are two different things.
Here they
It's
go.
not- It's basically the same thing.
Fourth
fourth-
and
the
fifth
fifth
are
hitter
two
is
different
supposed to
things.
drive in runs.
They're two different numbers.
Oh my god.
Right, well, we've
Anyway.
eclipsed our 3 minutes. I kind of egged that on by not interrupting sooner.
I'm glad you didn't.
All right.
Oh, God, they're wrestling now.
In terms of single season performance, what's the greatest sports team of all time?
The 2013 Denver Broncos. Perhaps the greatest NFL team offensively we've ever seen, ever. Peyton Manning throws 55 touchdown passes. He throws for 5,470 yards. Highest ever. And the only problem is they didn't win the Super Bowl, but they're the only team that had to play in the cold, which is a lot of BS. Every other team got to play in perfect conditions, and that's the reason they lost. But
Sounds like an excuse.
nope.
If they're so good, how come they couldn't get it done?
Because every other team got to play in nice, comfortable conditions. They're the only team that had to go play in terrible conditions in the Super Bowl.
But so did the other team.
Well, that's just it. That's just it. It comes down to one of the teams has to win. There's no ties.
No, Jeff seems to be the instigator here.
Because I know the team that's the best, and that's the Golden State Warriors. I mean, I'm not even going to say anything else. Unanimous MVP for the first time in NBA history, Steph Curry. I mean,
Hurt you?
It hurts to say all this because I hate them.
Want to go and say the last year New Orleans Pelicans? No, I actually
Give them 10 points.
I agree with Kendall. That Broncos team, they were just unbelievable. I mean, Peyton Manning was just firing on all cylinders. They were unstoppable. It was unfortunate how the season ended for them that year, but they were incredible to watch.
Here's my thing, too. What happened in the league after that? Nothing. Look what happened in the NBA. Golden State goes on a run. Teams are literally buying championship rosters just to compete. Other teams are tanking just to avoid them and hope that they all retire by the time their team is actually playoff contention.
A lot of
It's
people are
scary.
thinking that's kind of ruining the NBA, though. They don't like this super team thing. They don't.
can't
It's
beat
just. It's kind of like a a double-edged sword where some people love it because hey, I'm a Warriors fan. It's cool to see all these players play together and whatever, but everyone else hates it.
They hate it because they can't win.
I'm not sure what exact year it was. My thing is the undefeated Miami Dolphins.
72.
72. That's what I really thought it was.
No, you didn't.
I swear to God. I swear on Cole Hamels' life.
All right.
For those of you that don't know, Kyle loves Cole Hamels.
Ever to have a perfect season. To go 14-0, I think it was, in the regular season and win the Super Bowl. To me, it's perfect.
You know, the
can't beat
Patriots
that.
almost did
But they
that.
didn't.
Oh, I know. Why didn't they, Kyle?
The Giants.
That's it.
But my thinking, they had the
baited him into saying
perfect.
that.
The Miami Dolphins had the perfect season, and you can't
But-
beat that. But what?
Nothing. I just want to see him I want to see him get a little angry
The
there.
perfect season.
All right. Can't help but none of you, said this year's Chicago Bulls, but okay.
Well, I said last year's Pelicans.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. All right.
The boogie.
Stop it. Who is the next face of MLB baseball?
Cody Bellinger.
Aaron Judge.
It's tough because, I don't know if the guy's been in the league too long, but I say Bryce Harper.
I mean, I don't know why you guys are looking at me.
Too long. Too long.
He's been in too long.
I wouldn't even say too long.
I say Harper because he has the personality to be the face. Like Trout, I think is a better player, but Harper has that
The flair.
the flair exactly. He's much more in your face. Watch me play. I'm a louder player, and he is very good.
I think all the buzz is around Judge. He's got the big market behind him. He put up the big numbers to back it. He's a very likable personality.
For me, and I'm a big Yankees fan. I like Aaron Judge. He's got to do it for more than a year. We've seen so many players come in and have these huge one seasons. I hope he comes in and continues, but he strikes out a lot. I mean, he's set 2 different records this year for strikeouts. If he plays this year like he did this year
set
for the next
rookie home run season, right?
He did. But I mean, if he has 4 more seasons where he hits 50 home runs but strikes out 700
It'll
times.
just be Ryan Howard.
Adam Dunn.
Well,
is a hundred.
I think Cody Bellinger could be like Harper without all the baggage. Solid player, offensively minded, he's got a decent glove. But I mean, doesn't, not, running around, look at my hair. It's high. It
It's
doesn't.
fantastic hair.
But that's the
In
thing.
his
Like,
defense. I know Mock picked him, but
but that's the thing. Like, for so long, I may be wrong, but Jeter was the face of the MLB for what? And I really think that's only because he was in New York. As good as he was, New York was the big market, so he got more promotion. If he was on a different team, he wasn't like a big flamboyant player, so I don't think people would have paid as much attention to him.
did a long list of girls.
Yeah.
For me, it's a guy that hasn't really proven
Don't
it
say
yet.
Cole Hamels.
Nope.
Eric Sogard.
He's on the Chicago White Sox, and I believe it's going to be Yohan Moncada.
No.
Say that 5 times fast.
Jeff with the hard no.
He had the potential to have one of the best bats in baseball, a very good glove, can play all around the infield. Number 1 prospect in baseball. I think with a full spring training and the start of the regular season in Major League Baseball, I believe he takes that next step. And he become that player that everybody thought he was going to be.
You're saying he's going to be the next greatest superstar?
I guarantee it.
You're guaranteeing.
Ooh, that's a
I
soul's
guarantee.
guarantee.
He hits over 300 and had 30 home runs and 100 plus RBI next season.
So pretty much what that means, for those of you that don't know, when Kyle guarantees something, it never happens. Ever.
I'm sorry he guaranteed that point. I'm very sorry.
Well, let's see how serious it is. Do you Men's Warehouse guarantee it?
Yes.
Oh, boy. It's all down.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to get some extra points.
All right, well, same question, but the NFL.
Deshaun Watson.
I agree with Jeff. Watson seems like that kid, good head on his shoulders. Kid can play. And,
He's proven it.
yeah.
He didn't have just one good game. He's played from behind when they were trying to win a game. He's shown that he could run, but he's not a run-first quarterback. That's what I like about him. He looks to throw. He makes good decisions. Accuracy isn't there yet, but he's, it's his, 5th, 6th game?
I even look at the other young players. So, like, in the last 2 years, you had, like, Ezekiel Elliott come out. I mean, he's already controversial, domestic violence, whatever. I mean, Dak seems like a good guy. They always show him doing charity stuff. He's not in trouble. I just think Watson's going to be a little more outspoken.
Yeah, look what he did with his first game check, too.
Yeah. I
To
think
the
he'll be
cafeteria
more
workers.
outspoken with, like, charitable things, and it'll just reflect well in the NFL when a lot of players don't.
For me, I'm going to give it to Fournette from the Jaguars. He's already ripped off huge runs from a rookie. I mean, 75 yards this past Sunday, a 90-yard rush the week before. That's unheard of, in today's, pass-happy NFL. And if he continues it, which it seems like he's on pace for, I think he's the next big thing.
What Pittsburgh Steeler do you think Kyle's going to say now?
I'm not.
TJ Watt was.
I'm going with Kareem Hunt, and he runs like a young Adrian Peterson. He has very good hands.
Do you guarantee that?
Shut up.
It's very good hands.
I don't think this is just a fluke
So
for
tender.
him. He's very good both receiving and running. I just feel like I think Deshaun Watson's going to be great, but I do feel like Kareem Hunt's going to have the better career when it's all said and done.
I disagree. I think
I
Deshaun Watson's going to be
strongly
one of the best
disagree.
quarterbacks we've seen. He walked into such a good system down there.
Coming up. When's the last time you were like, wow, really good young quarterback?
Yeah, I understand that, and I'm saying Deshaun Watson's going to be great.
Oh, my shirt's off again.
It's just Kareem Hunt plays in a way better division than Watson does.
For now.
For now, but
Now, there's a lot of aging players in that division.
better defenses are in the AFC West than there is in AFC South. I just feel like Kareem Hunt.
Houston's got a pretty solid defense,
Yeah, but that's
barring injuries.
That's his team.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm saying, but like he's facing the Colts, the Titans, and the
So
Jaguars.
how is he going to be? He's going to be more successful.
Yeah, but
He's playing against weaker
he's
defenses.
yeah, but Kareem Hunt's gonna do it against better defenses.
If he does it.
And he will. He's already proven it.
So far, I mean, it's tough to pick between the two. Personally,
it's
I
tough
think,
even Fournette.
yeah.
Fournette's played against some good defenses.
Personally, like I said, I think Watson's going to be one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in a while.
Time. I'd like to give my 2 cents on this one because you guys can't take points away.
Trubisky.
No, see, I'm gonna kind of take the mock route for baseball. I'm gonna say Andrew Luck, and I'm gonna say that, and it's entirely based on his health. I understand that, but quarterbacks play a long time. He has the ability to do that. He's got the arm. He's already proven that he's got the talent to do it. Their defense is on the rise. It's still not there yet, but it's getting better every single game. The players that are there are making progressions. They're not old anymore defensively, and offensively, their receivers are making big plays without Andrew Luck, and when you get a quarterback that can make those plays, it's only going to make Andrew Luck look better. I know he's been around for a little while, but I think the addition of players like Fournette and Deshaun Watson are going to cause Andrew Luck to have to play better, and I think Andrew Luck becomes the next face of NFL football. I don't think it's a rookie. I mean, when's the last time you saw a rookie become the face of the NFL within a short period of time? And the reason I say it is because as long as Aaron Rodgers is playing football, he's going to be the face once Brady retires. And Andrew Luck, he plays a position where he has the ability to play for another 13, 14 years.
That's a good point.
That's my 2 cents in on the matter. So 10 points for Paul. Okay, so this one's a fun one. This might be somewhat geared towards certain people here, but you guys all know. Is Phil Jackson's
Phil Jackson's fault.
Is Phil Jackson's success in Chicago and Los Angeles based off the players, or is it based off of him?
Players. Look, after Michael Jordan retired for the first time, they didn't go to the finals.
But is that because Jordan wasn't there?
Yeah, that's right. It's based on the players. Players not. Phil could coach as great as he wanted. He didn't have the players to get there. Jordan was that good. Point, bar none.
I think it's the players as well. And because you have to have the right players to play the kind of offense that Phil Jackson wants, and that's the triangle. The Knicks didn't have that offense. And
Ooh, here he goes.
he knows it. didn't have, Kobe.
So how is it on the players? That is on Phil Jackson. You have a team that can't run a triangle. Why are you running a triangle?
Wasn't he the GM of the Knicks? Why was he making that decision?
Well, the
He was
question,
the
but the question
president
has
of
nothing to do with the
operations.
Knicks. This question has nothing to do with it. It's only about Phil's success. Phil's 10 championship rings.
His success was on the players, not really.
Now, I
I emphasize this has nothing to do with the Knicks.
Phil was one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach.
He also had the
It is
two
not on
greatest
the players
of all time.
It is not on the players. He made them. They were great players.
Are you talking about Nick Van Exel
Don't
and
get me
BJ
wrong.
Armstrong?
Yes.
But those players were built for that system. They ran that system and success. Once he left, they lost. That's because the system doesn't work without him.
The Lakers won without
They
him.
worked perfectly. The triangle worked every time.
But they had Kobe and Shaq.
Yes.
And therefore, if he didn't have Kobe and Shaq, the players... If he
But
didn't have,
without running a triangle, what do?
they probably would
They
have
play
been just as good.
They break up just like they did. Kobe gets mad, Shaq gets mad, they leave.
They would have been just as good.
Perfect as a unit.
And then the Lakers won a couple years later. So therefore, it wasn't really him. It was the players.
They won a couple years later.
It was
It's
Kobe
irrelevant.
Bryant and Michael Jordan that made Phil Jackson.
Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. So you're saying that whatever team has Kobe and Michael should win the ring, regardless of who's around them and who's coaching them?
No, but they
You're saying one
still
player?
had. No,
One
but they
player?
had Kobe and Shaq. They had Scotty and Jordan.
Okay.
The two great. They were the best players in that position at the time.
Okay.
If those players weren't there, he would have not won.
He would have not won, or he would have.
He would have not won a ring. I guarantee it.
I don't know about that.
So you take Scotty out of Chicago. Chicago doesn't win that many rings.
So, I mean, I think a big person we're forgetting about is Shaq here. I mean, what a great guy. Bald.
Super athletic.
I mean, he's in tons of commercials now, and I think that's, a perfect...
Time's ticking. Mark, you got something to chime in about?
I too think it was the players. I mean, Phil Jackson was a good coach, but he look at the players he had playing
And
for
look
him.
at the egos that he
Oh,
controlled.
absolutely. I mean, there's no denying he was a good coach. I think now he became, because he was such a good coach, it kind of turned him into an ego maniac type guy. But
No.
he also
He's
had
just lazy.
he also had all-time talents playing for him, and
Who he sculpted.
oh, absolutely. That's what I mean. Like I think he was a
Just
good
don't
coach.
forget how good he was when he played.
It went kind of hand in hand. I mean, it's not that it's hard to coach when you have these all-star players, but you have to maintain them, like you just said. You got to keep everybody in check, have them know their place, and he was able to do that. So it just kind of worked.
I'd also like to give my 2 cents.
That was a lot of basketball knowledge I just dropped off the top of my head.
I
Pelicans.
say it's Phil Jackson, and the reason I say it is because you kind of touched on it. He had all the players in the world. Don't get me wrong, Kobe, Shaq. He had all these supporting players, Scotty, Rodman, Jordan. Every single one of those players, with the exception of Dennis Rodman, that we've named, and many supporting players had more than the ability to take over a game and be the guy. And the only person that could tell them not to do it and they'd listen to it was Phil Jackson. End of story.
100%.
I mean, that's my 2 cents on it. I mean, Pippen knew his place and knew Jordan was the best to ever play basketball, at least at the time. That's a different debate.
That's why I think Pop's the
But-
next best coach. Same thing. He controls his players. He knows he's got superstars.
Can I
keeps
ask
them
a
in
quick
line.
question?
No.
Okay.
All right. So the next question, yes, go ahead.
I want to ask, because I'm kind of piggybacking off what Jeff was saying. What about Steve Kerr in Golden State?
It's too early.
But he's kind of in the similar situation where he has
That's Mark Jackson's team, not Steve Kerr's.
But he
team.
has these all-time talents, and he's got to maintain who's
The difference, and I'll
Yes
say
and
this, the difference between Steve Kerr and Phil Jackson is Phil Jackson has had the success with the two teams, and so that right there enough is makes him better than Steve Kerr. Because
Steve kinda
he did
came
it
in
twice.
On a nice scenario.
Kyle's right. I mean, Steve Kerr definitely has helped that team, but Mark Jackson built it, and Steve Kerr took it over.
And the only reason why Mark
Steve Kerr
Jackson
is the
got
right guy for it, though.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr's the right coach for it. But the other thing I'd like to add into it too is one thing that the Golden State Warriors have, and Steve Kerr has that Phil Jackson never had in those two teams was a point guard. So Steph Curry and Steve Kerr are pretty much on the same agreement that even though they're superstars that can score the ball, Steph Curry is the point guard. He controls the ball. It's his team to run. End of story. There's no competition about it. Kevin Durant has no say in running that team. Steph Curry brings the ball up. He's been there longer than him. It's his team to run. Whereas Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, yes, they took games over, but they weren't the point guard. They didn't control the offense. Yeah. The offense circled around them, but they didn't control it. Steph Curry controls that offense. So Steph Curry, is the mastermind behind all the greatness. And now that Kevin Durant's there, Klay Thompson is realizing, or is becoming a support role player. He's not a star anymore. I mean, he makes big plays, but he's not the star player on the team. And Draymond Green, all last season, all you heard is defense. His offense was pretty much non-existent compared to everybody else's. So that's my 2 cents in it. So shut up, Mock.
Go
You don't know
Pelicans.
anything. Okay.
Pelicans 2018.
So this is one that was off the list of research topics, and so it's going to be right off the cusp. But I think you guys all have arguments that'll be made. Who has the greatest jersey in all of sports? This is a good one. This is one of my favorite topics. I obviously have an answer, and I love these. These discussions are always the best for me because everybody gets real biased real quick. So come on,
Instantly, the first thing I thought of was the Yankees home jersey. I love the pinstripes. Yep. Well, say what you want. I love them.
The Los Angeles former San Diego Chargers, what a classy uniform. The powder blue, the dark blue, the white. It just worked perfectly with the
Until
yellow.
they up with the new helmets.
The new helmets are so-so. With the white,
No, they're hideous.
they are a
Hideous.
classy jersey.
Hideous.
Classy jersey. Classy
No class.
jersey. All class. All right,
God.
Jeff, what's your jersey? Or uniform, rather.
This is gonna be crazy because this is a team I hate, but I like Cincinnati Reds. Very. It's just a very classy.
What makes it
jersey.
classy? The gray?
It's nice. It's nice. It's simple. It's not like lime green and shit like some of these other teams have been doing. It hasn't changed much over the years. Just a nice baseball jersey, that white and red at home,
And gray. Primarily
gray
gray.
on the road.
Kyle,
Kyle, you got anything?
He's thinking.
I know. Stuff.
just so hard.
Is it the
Stop
Steelers
picking
Bumblebee
your
jersey?
nose.
No.
I think it's the Atlanta Hawks alternate 90s.
All right.
I'm gonna go with the Oakland Athletics, just green and yellow.
And yuck. Moving.
My reasoning is because it's just
We don't want to hear it.
whatever.
Go ahead, Kyle. Tell us your reasoning.
Those are the jerseys that's been around for year after year and stayed consistent, and they've just been
Oh, go yourself.
they've just been iconic to the team.
I kind of expected more out of this.
I can't help but think you just lost some points.
So I'd like to go ahead and preface this one. The Yankees uniforms because they're not the only team in the MLB
I
that
know
wears
they're not.
pinstripes, and they weren't the first to do it. Just
But they're the
horseshit.
most famous
The
to do
Reds
it.
suck.
That doesn't matter. They're not the first. They're not the first to do it. The White Sox have been around longer, and they wear pinstripes.
Yankees are better.
So that doesn't mean anything. No, when it comes to jerseys.
Oh, that's a Joe Creedy.
So greedy.
Yeah, you guys never had Adam Dunn. Do they have Adam Dunn?
Have the White Sox been around longer?
The White Sox have been around since 1894.
Oh, they were by like 10 years.
Yeah. So,
All right. I wasn't
Suck it.
sure.
yeah. Well, check your facts before you start trying to come at the host.
I wasn't. Hey, you still have an
goddamn
ice
household
drink down
appliance.
there.
Yeah, I know. I'll get to it. You guys are the one that's gonna have to do disgusting shots. All of you.
Huh?
Yeah. All right. This is another good one. Who's the biggest bust in sports history?
Jamarcus Russell.
Drew Brees. No,
No.
I'm kidding.
Jamarcus Russell literally held out before he played a day. Got $68 million on his contract for 6 years. Guaranteed 31. Played horrendous. He had a 150. I know passer rating isn't that big of a deal, but it went from 152 in college to 65. He threw horrible ball. He was garbage.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell was pretty bad.
He-
Up there with
he's
like
the
Ryan
reason-
Leaf.
Ryan Leaf is my guy, and I'll tell you why I think he's worse. Ryan Leaf was supposed to be as good, if not better, than Peyton Manning. He, in his career, which was spanned 3 seasons, he's 4-17. He's thrown 14 touchdowns with 36 interceptions, and was benched every season he played.
Not to mention drafted before Peyton Manning.
After second. It was.
No, yeah. All right.
But at
Chop.
least he stayed on the field to an extent. Jamarcus Russell couldn't even get in shape. And he was a number 1 pick. $68 million.
Showed up pretty heavy to camp.
Cocaine did a number too.
I'm gonna go with Greg Oden, and my reasoning is because Blazers picked him to be the face, right? They picked him over Kevin Durant. The first year, hurt his knee. Next year, got hurt again. He never.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid got paid. Whatever.
No, it's not guaranteed because of players like Greg Oden. So that's why I tend to agree with you. Greg Oden's a good pick.
And like the
Because
thing
he
is,
impacted rookies down the stretch.
the more like he's a bust because the Blazers could have had Kevin Durant. So they took the guy and he just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
He kept getting hurt. I mean,
It's too bad because he had flashes of greatness. But
he could have been great, but game 1, I think he went down and just season was over.
Anthony Bennett's another guy you can have on that list.
I mean, the list you can have go
Big
on and
bust.
on. I mean, you can put Johnny Manziel on there.
He's doing
the list
everything
can go
right.
on and on.
I don't think anybody really expected anything of Johnny Manziel.
But the hype was so big for him. I mean, he was so good in college, and the hype was there for him. I never
He
expected
had
him
a
to
lot
really
of
do anything,
doubters
but
going in though. No one was like, "Oh, he's the best."
he was so young coming out of college. He shouldn't have left college when he did, but he tried to cash in, and it didn't work out.
So for a little while, I thought it might be Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
looking.
There was a short stint where I thought it was. All right, reversing it now. Who's the biggest steal
Isaiah
in
Thomas.
sports history?
Wow, history. I thought it was
Easily
recent.
Tom Brady. I mean, he was drafted in the
you
6th
can't
round.
really argue that.
He was drafted so late, and he turned out, as much as I can't stand him, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. So, to me, that's the biggest steal in sports.
It's going to get a little personal, but Marquise Colston was a very big steal, too.
Wasn't that good?
I mean, he was a big part of the whole every postseason we had, which was new to the Saints because they sucked.
Remember that time he threw that forward
I
pass?
do recall that. I'm still bitter about that, but
I mean, how about Marquette King? Great punter. Who would have thought he'd be doing as well as he is?
The Raiders thought it.
The Raiders thought it.
those are the same people that thought Jamarcus Russell was worth $68 million.
Hey, so they're 1 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Get King that contract. He's earned it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little biased here, but
J.P. Crawford.
I'm gonna go with Antonio Brown, a 6th round pick. Nobody really expected him to do great things with Hines Ward and Santonio Holmes, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace. They decided to pay Brown over Wallace, and that became the greatest thing that the Steelers have done in the last 10 years. He always having 1,000-yard seasons, over 100 catches. He's just been.
He's not even that good.
That catch we watched was insane.
He
off
he
the
is very good.
deflection
He's one of my
catch.
favorite players in the league.
He's just one of the if not the best, one of the best receivers in the NFL for the last 5 years.
I think right now he's the backbone of the Steelers because Ben's kind of fading out, and it's just Brown and Bell are like the 2 pillars of that team right now.
Well, they
Don't forget
complement each other.
Shazier.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
2 complement
jeez.
each other very well. Brown and Brown. That's it. Just wanted to say that.
The law offices of Bell and Brown.
It's my favorite too. Well, is it fair to say that like players like DeAndre Jordan and like Isaiah Thomas and like these players, because really, if you're an NBA player and you're drafted in the second half of the 2nd round, you might as well be drafted in the 7th round of the NFL draft,
Yeah.
or even undrafted. It's the same thing. So, do players like that, do they fall into the same caliber of type thing?
Yeah, because a lot of times, especially fans, they don't even care about the 2nd round. I tend to not care. You know, if people surprise me, they do. I know Kyle's a big watch every single pick.
I've never watched the 2nd round of the NBA draft once in my life.
Exactly.
Never
But,
once.
Have you ever
there's
watched the
some
first
gems
round
that
of the
do
NBA?
come out of it.
Nope.
So Isaiah Thomas was the 60th pick
And
in
your
the NBA.
GM looks like a genius when you do it.
And, that was the last pick of the 2nd round. So the Kings look good doing it, and then
And it's funny because they probably got a lot of people angry. Oh, they took a 5'4" point guard.
It's-
Who?
really in the NBA, it's the 2nd round is just luck. Like Draymond Green was the 2nd round pick.
It's all
Isaiah
about getting the
Thomas.
right system.
Most of the time, they don't work out.
LeBron James. he was a
I
60th
should have
pick,
been.
am
I
right?
should have been a 2nd round pick, but no one wanted to throw the dart on me.
We
And it
made
just-
you an NBA 2K and then we traded you.
You know, you
No,
guys do that to me in
we-
every franchise you guys
Well,
make.
we made you
trade
just
you.
like
You're on the trading block.
Yeah, well, we made you very realistic. You have an okay free throw, outstanding passing, and your speed's a 40.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I get a lot of fouls.
your
Ask
pass-
Kyle.
yeah,
I play
you
a lot
have-
of dirty defense.
Skipping the
We consider
balls
that when
every
making
time.
you a player.
My person,
You guys
if I were
spot
on the trying to be on the point receiving side of this, mine would be Deacon Jones. Deacon Jones, you guys know who that is? You guys should know who Deacon
Bishop
Jones is.
Bullwinkle's brother.
Yep.
That's it.
No, Deacon Jones, pass rusher from the, I think he was drafted in 64 or something like that.
Oh.
But that was back when there wasn't as many teams in the NFL, so drafts were longer. He was taken in the 14th round of the draft and is considered one of the best pass rusher of all time in some discussions.
He created the sack.
Yeah.
Coined the word.
Tom Brady didn't create nothing. He didn't create passes. He didn't create touchdowns. Great steal. Deacon Jones created the sack.
Listen, I'm going to agree for anyone that says they're better than Brady. I'm fine with that. Go Deacon Jones.
I think we got time for one more, producer.
Yeah, we got time for one more.
All right, so we'll do the last one here. This one is this is one of my favorites. I know Jeff was looking forward to it. He told me before the show. What's the greatest individual sports record of all time?
Ooh.
I'd like to go last if that's okay.
Oh, sure.
Jeff?
I'd like to go second to last, if that's okay.
You guys are going to be blown away.
Well, Kyle, go first. Come on, Kyle.
I didn't think of one.
You guys are really gonna make me go first.
Hold
aren't
on,
you?
can you
All right,
can you
all right.
repeat the
What's
question?
the greatest individual record in sports history?
Let me just get my paper.
Go ahead,
here.
Jeff.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, when I think of records, I think they're all meant to be broken, right? I think one of the best records anyone could set is most consecutive games played. Especially if you're at the caliber of the man like Cal Ripken Jr. was. So not only did he play in 2,632, that's 16 years consecutively, no days off, but he played at all-star level. You could break a record one year and suck for the rest of your career. This dude...
Nick Foles did that.
Exactly. This dude came in for pretty much 3/4 of the time I was alive and played at all-star caliber.
You know, it's funny because I was trying to think of a player, and I thought of the same record, but a different player. I thought Brett Favre, but for the same thing, for most consecutive starts.
Most interceptions thrown, too.
Yeah, well,
No,
we're not talking about that. You know, I don't have the number in front of me, but he started however many forever. He never
Showed
missed a
his
game.
wang to a woman.
Yeah, well, listen, that's a good record too. But you know, you look now like Eli Manning is never missed a start for as long as he's been in the NFL, and he's not even near Favre. So I mean, to play especially a physical game like football and to never miss a start, especially being a quarterback, to me that's incredible. To just be that consistent.
You got banged up, too. Kyle, you got someone?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the number 753, which is Barry Bonds' record.
Oh, get the out of here.
You're gonna say Barry
Get
Bonds
the fuck out of
Why
here.
wouldn't I?
because he was on steroids.
You still have to be able to hit the ball.
Yeah, but performance...
Freddie
enhancing
Galvis
drugs
did
help.
steroids.
You
Look what
lose.
he's done.
You lose.
No.
Lose all his points.
No,
It's
He's
got
out.
an asterisk next to it in the record book, and you
I don't
pick
care.
that as the most important record?
Yeah,
No.
it's the hardest for me. He beat Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron, who had those records for 30+ years.
Okay.
Steroids.
30+ years.
Yeah, Hank Aaron retired.
I mean, well, technically 30-plus years. He's not wrong.
To Hank Aaron?
He could have picked a different decade number to go with, but he's not wrong.
Barry Bonds did it.
On steroids.
It doesn't matter.
Of course it matters.
No, it
Scott.
doesn't.
Of
Definitely
course it
matters.
does. He would have never hit that many home runs if he was on steroids.
He was not
You
hitting
still
that
got to be
many home
talented
run-
to hit the ball
he-
that
He
far.
was not hitting
Barry
that many
Bonds,
home runs in
no
Pittsburgh.
doubt,
He
was
hit
gonna-
30
He's on
plus home
steroids.
runs in Pittsburgh.
He was going to
He
be
wasn't
one of the
hitting
greatest
50,
hitters.
60 every year.
Doesn't matter.
Get out of here. It does matter. That's
No.
double.
Okay, so
That's
I,
double.
First of all, he was never even convicted of doing steroids. So
Kyle.
it explains to me.
You and I both know.
I don't know because he
Don't
would never.
even-
His head got bigger.
He
what?
literally
His
doubled
skull
him.
okay,
grew.
I have to get in this. You know.
Oh, go
I
ahead,
have to get
Kendall.
in this. So I mean, you
Now
guys
my
are-
shirt's off.
O.J. Simpson was never convicted either.
He didn't do it.
Right.
Oh, my
yeah.
All right.
All right,
So
Kyle.
here's what we're
Give
missing.
him a
here.
shot.
Also, free Hernandez.
We're
He's
missing
dead.
Arnold Palmer. Now consider this for a
Who
second.
wants some Arnie
I
Palmies?
thought we didn't do golf on the show.
Yes, we do for this.
You wanted to
44
go
wins.
last?
44 wins on the PGA Tour.
Wow.
44 wins. Can
It
you
is
believe
incredible.
It? 44 wins. You know the next closest guy is?
Me?
I forgot.
Jim
But
Furyk.
he was still 8 wins away from that.
It's probably Tiger.
I don't think it is.
Tiger
Tiger,
was
didn't
not
even
close.
pass Nicholas.
Yeah.
So not only did Arnold Palmer have a remarkable career, like Mike Mock said here, he has his own drink.
Which might be one of the best beverages.
What about most
He should have
Around.
two
Around.
drinks, because there's the
Jack
pink Arnold Palmer.
There, well, there's variations
That's
of
pretty
the Arnold
impressive.
Palmer, and there's
I
light
think-
versions. We're talking about Arnold Palmers here.
No,
so,
no.
Kyle, shut it
Most
down.
games attended
Barry
by Jack
Bonds is on
Nicholson.
steroids. You lose.
No.
Yes.
Do you think? What about A-Rod? What do you think about him?
He was on steroids also.
So, do you think he's one of the greatest hitters of all time?
All right.
Yeah.
Cutting it off.
Bitch.
Kyle, we're going to talk later.
Steroids are bad.
Well,
Cheating.
They made the game.
Cheating.
They made the game better.
No,
The
they
Graham.
didn't.
Made
They
the
didn't make
Graham.
the game better.
Yes, they
That's
did.
something a lazy
All right.
that doesn't go to
The
the, gym
most
says.
the most
Hey.
exciting time in baseball
Hey.
was when McGuire and Sosa were going at it for
Knock
something.
it off.
No.
Knock it off.
It
No,
wasn't.
put your shirts back on.
It's all done. Show's over. You guys all lose.
We had so much terrible background noise this episode. We're going to try to clean this up,
Nah, leave it.
but we'll
All right.
do our best.
We'll go with scores. This got heated. Need a bath.
Alter the rules because Kyle's a big fan of that.
Well,
Sure,
we're going to start off with bias points.
No, I don't.
Uh,
I'm on steroids.
so, in terms of bias points, Kyle's the biased winner. He got 1 point. Mock also got a point, but he lost a point.
Why?
You said Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is just the devil. You lose. So, Kyle,
Damn.
good job.
I
saying
should
a
have
White
known
Sox
who was
player.
keeping track of the points.
You're the biased point winner. In terms of regular point winners, now I kept track of positive points and negative points. The winner is a tie. Dun dun dun.
You know, this happened last time
But
we
the
did a point
loser's
show.
mock, so he has to do a
Was
show.
it really?
Yeah, by 2.
Damn.
Kyle, you came in 3rd. Jeff, you and Kendall, you guys tied for 1st. So,
And
4
we
bonus
did it
points.
without steroids. High five.
You each
Better.
have.
Steroids make the game better.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Prove me I'm wrong.
So
I
you
think
guys,
a million true fans will.
I don't think you're right.
you hold on. Hey, we're doing
A million.
tiebreakers. It's a tiebreaker. Relax. So we have a tiebreaker. Okay.
No.
You will each have 30 seconds to make your arguments. No interrupting each other. End of story. That's it. I'm going to give you each a different question so that you can't piggyback off each other's answers or run out of things to say. So, Jeff, in 30 seconds, you have to tell me
So bad at this.
who's better. Or not who's better, sorry. Coming down, you have 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter and you're down 20. Who do you want controlling the ball? LeBron James or Kobe Bryant? Go.
I'd rather have LeBron James controlling the ball.
Okay.
He's better when it comes to dishing the ball. He's more physical. He can back down better in the post. He'll dish it to his open teammates. He's not going to make a dumb move. He's not going to force the ball. That's pretty much the best reason there is he's not going to force a shot.
Man, am I happy I didn't get that question.
I wish I had it.
No, you would have said, take steroids.
No, we're not.
Yeah, or blood dope or whatever else you were into over there.
All right.
Counting cards.
I wish I
Identity
could count
theft.
Cards, all right?
He can barely count.
Kendall, your turn.
Got it.
All right.
Failed every class in high school.
That's not
Give me a similar question.
3.
Just some of them.
Who? Hey.
Sorry.
Just because you guys lost doesn't mean you can interrupt. Kendall, who would you rather have on your team? Emmitt Smith or Walter Payton? Go.
Walter Payton, more physical back, never ran out of bounds. You know, it's a crime for him in the Super Bowl. He never got a chance to score, but the fridge got to score before him. That's a superfluous, however you say it.
What?
Yep. But I just thought I'd throw that out there, just trying to speed up my chance of winning. I have 30 seconds so I can keep talking. Just a physical back, and, number 34 should be retired across all NFL sports.
Can I
all
mention?
NFL sports, he says.
Can I mention? I think Kendall said that to earn some bias points.
That I did.
So Jeff wins just because I was really stingy on the points. Jeff got 3 points. You got 2.
Yeah, but I'm also going to test positive for steroids.
So
Kyle's cool
anyway,
with that.
Mock has to do the shot because he lost.
Yeah.
But Kendall, you're going to get a special under the covers treat later for those 34 should being
stop watching.
retired. So, So that went a lot more aggressive than I thought.
Wow.
So I think Machine Washable has
Rules
some.
don't matter for Kyle.
Yeah, this show has just been a complete dumpster fire. Mock Sheen Washable has some plugs he'd like to.
Yeah. If you guys, take a second, our friends over at the Forgotten News podcast have a quick word.
Hi, this is Jim.
And this is Annabelle.
Together, we bring you the Forgotten News podcast.
We tell true stories from long ago. Stories from before you were born. Stories that made headlines for a week or a month, then vanished just as suddenly. We look for and find these long-lost stories, then brush off the dust and share them with you, as fresh as the day they were first told.
And one thing we definitely promise you, the stories you will hear will always be a surprise, and it will be a true story.
It might be a crime story. It might be a strange or spooky story. It might be a funny story.
If you are someone who might like to hear lost stories like these, then you should definitely listen to the Forgotten News podcast. We think you'll really enjoy it.
If you think you'd like to listen, here's all you need to know. The Forgotten News podcast is available on iTunes, also known as Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Play, Podbay, Player FM, and nearly every app for listening to podcasts.
Wow, that's a lot of places where people can listen or download if they want to. I don't know what else to say. Except that if you like hearing stories of strange and unusual things from long ago, be sure to listen to the Forgotten News podcast.
Be sure to find us on Facebook and Instagram at Getting Sports with Drunk, and Twitter is GSWD_4.
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it's
Do it.
using steroids or coming in last place.
Now, you can also find us on iTunes, Podbean, every day on the Lieb Sports Network, and now introducing, starting the 22nd of October with this show, we are on PPRN. Glad to be a part of it.
Very excited.
Oh,
Yes. Good stuff.
Excellent.
Beer reviews, gentlemen. Your Connecticut brews. Souls.
Juicy.
Excellent.
He took 2 sips.
So I had the Four Horsemen by Thimble Island, and unlike the Four Horsemen, the wrestling faction, this beer lacked the wow factor.
That might be a shot for really doing Ric Flair injustice there.
For a dark beer, it was okay, but I don't know. I think I was expecting something a little bit more sweeter, I guess would be what I don't know why. I had
A
this
little more Arn Anderson.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You know, I have the Relic Whiting. It was pretty good. It was crisp, nice, easy to drink.
It might be Whitting now that I'm
Whitting.
thinking about it.
It might be Whitting Street. The Whiting just kind of sounds controversial, so I don't really want to say anything else.
It's only awkward if you make it awkward.
This hop stillo here, I thought was very good. Very easy drinking beer. Paul doesn't agree, but I like it. I think it's pretty good. I'd drink it again.
Kyle, I know you said it was juicy, but can you just tell the listeners what you were drinking again? So if they're looking to get juiced.
I was drinking the orange juiced IPA.
From?
Stony Creek, is that what?
Yeah, good for you, Kyle. You're learning to read the cans better. This just makes me go bog wild. It's so good. I don't have to do anything. I don't want to.
I don't know.
No, I'll do my shot. But
Wild hops, baby.
I like it a lot. It's a sour with cranberry and spices. It's the perfect beer for this time of year. Yeah, it's just it's not heartburn sour, which is something I and both Jeff Martin and I both suffer very strongly from when we drink the sour beers. They cause the acid reflux to flare up quite nicely. This does not do that, and it's very nice, and it's got the cranberry taste, but the more tart cranberry taste as opposed to the sweet. So yeah, beer reviews. Make sure to tune in next week for I believe we're going to be doing MLB, right? It's the MLB postseason show. So
Talk about some steroid usage. And
looking forward to that.
Good.
Also,
You've lost
look
all
out in the future
credibility
for
on the show.
NBA show, similar to our NHL show we did last week. And remember to be drunk with sports at all times.
Or
All
else.
times.
I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
You still have that ice to drink down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink it. I'm the least person you have to worry about passing up on booze at this table. It's gonna happen. I'm also halfway done with my beer, and it was twice the size of everybody else's beer here.
I'm J-Mart.
I'm Mock.
Sheen washable.
Nope.
Soulsy.
And I'm Kendall.
Take care, folks.